All right. You guys excited? Yeah, I want to know just by a raise of hands, how many have seen this amazing Fall in Love with Follow-Up presentation? Yeah, see how good duplicate or repetition is in this business? I got to see Ali do it live at Seattle Summit. Carmen got to see her do it live at Next Gen. We've watched the recordings and actually yesterday in Rep Rap, and my team is still on because this is so amazing. I'm gonna let Ali take it away, but Ali, seriously, thank you for doing this again for everyone. I'm seeing changes on my team. They are falling in love with Follow because of you, and I am so grateful for that.
Awesome. If you guys could just mute yourself if you're not muted, or maybe Christy can handle that.
Yeah, mute yourself if you can help me out, y'all. All right.
But, okay. I know some of you have seen this, like Christy said, but I am so excited to share it again because every time I talk about it, it makes me just realize how important it is once again. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen with you here and just get started. So let me start this here. Okay. All right. So I have to tell you though, this is a shift for me, and you guys, some of you know my story, some of you don't. I am obviously a 50 Club National Marketing Director. I've been in this like 9 years, close to 10 years, and I just I used to be the master messenger, and you know I have a very busy life. You're going to see some of that, and I used to in like 10, I'd have like 10 minutes, and I'd send as many messages as I could, and then I'd forget who I messaged. And so there was never any follow-up, never any follow-through. And like, I can't even imagine where my business would be today if I had been better about this in the beginning. So some of you guys are not national marketing directors yet. So learn from me and the mistakes that I made, and know that you can be good at this from the beginning and really make a huge impact on people. So the first thing I want to tell you or ask you to do is think about your own story before we really get into talking about follow-up. Your story. Somebody, why are you here? How did you, get on this call? How did you get to become part of our mission, taking our products, whatever it is? Who followed up with you? Okay. Were any of you like one person, like one message, one and done? Yes, that's me. Christy, can you mute everybody, please? Or you guys can just mute yourselves if you're not on mute. That would be awesome. Thank you. So, who cared about you enough to follow up with you? And I want you to remember that as we go through this, okay? Did you get it right away? Here's a little bit of my story. The lady on the right is my sponsor, Joy Kelly, and she absolutely, if she hadn't followed up with me for 4 months, then so many people, thousands of lives would not have been impacted and changed if she hadn't followed up with me. And her upline is Dr. Mitra Ray. Mitra followed up with Joy for 9 months. Okay, before Joy said yes. Joy Kelly is a hundreds club in MD. So think of the thousands and thousands of lives that wouldn't have been impacted if Mitra wouldn't have cared enough to follow up with Joy. And then Joy cared enough to follow up with me. And then you guys know AJ Majors right there in the middle. She's a new NMD on my team, and she didn't tell me yes right away. It wasn't a hey, you should do this, okay? I had to follow up with her both for the products and to join my team. And she's my best friend, and she still told me no. So, it's okay, but follow-up is key. So remember your story as we go through this, okay? Now, as you're remembering your own story, now I want you to think back, and I can't see all of you guys right now, but just raise your hand, because you need to raise your hand so that you're admitting it. If you've ever sent somebody one message and they didn't respond, and so that was it, you dropped it. I promise you guys, you've done it. If you haven't, if you're not raising your hand, it's because you've forgotten, because you're like me. You send so many messages and you forget who you messaged and they never respond. So you never reach back to them because you've forgotten. Okay. I'm going to help you figure that out, really get past that. We are not going to one and done people. Okay. We're not going to do that. I'm going to tell you why here. So we're going to talk numbers. Okay. I don't know the real number. I don't know, I've heard 6, I've heard 7, I've heard 8, and I'm talking how many exposures it takes for somebody to get this. It's a lot. I know that. I know that it's a continuing, ongoing process. We are always having to reach back, okay? So the average, they say the average is like 7, okay? Think about what it was for you. I don't know. An exposure could be somebody sent you a message, somebody invited you to an event, somebody shared a video with you, you saw a post that they did on Instagram. So those are all exposures, right? But it usually takes more than one. It usually takes an average of 6, 7, or 8 to get that. So if you're new in this business, and a lot of you might be newer, just feel like content with that. Like, understand, people, it's not just one message and they're going to get it. So don't be frustrated if they don't get it right away, or if they don't respond to you, and understand how powerful follow-up is. It is the most powerful tool that we have. It's the most powerful thing we do. I have just learned to understand that, how powerful it is. So remember the numbers, average of 6, 7, or 8, okay? So these people that we have one and done, I know you've all done it. Why? Right? That's my question. And I asked some people this when I was putting this together. Why did you one and done that person? A lot of people will say, well, I didn't want to be pushy. Didn't want them to think I was being pushy. I didn't want them to think I was trying to sell them something. You know what? If you one and done somebody, they're going to think you're just trying to sell them something. Okay? So I'm going to get to that. But you don't think they're interested, which is crazy, you guys. We have fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and we have a business opportunity that is changing lives, okay? People are interested. We just have to get the information to them, and that's why we have to follow up. Or maybe even you got your feelings hurt, right? You sent somebody a message and they didn't respond, and now you're going to throw yourself a pity party because, oh gosh, I just ruined that relationship. I sent somebody a message and they didn't respond. You guys, I'm going to talk about this, but we can't ever think like that, okay? If you send somebody a message and they don't respond, and then you don't reach back to them, that's when you might ruin that relationship, okay? That's when it looks like you don't really care. That's when it looks like you're just trying to sell them something. It's when you send them one message and that's it, right? So we don't want to be those people, okay? We don't want, it looks like if you're doing that, if you're one and doneing people, it looks like you're just going through all of your contacts, messaging everybody and seeing who will respond. And you might have been doing that, but that's not going to be able to build relationships. It's not going to help you build your business, okay? We don't want to send that message. No one and dones. So here's how we're going to go from feeling like you're being pushy to understanding that you're being professional, okay? How to follow up professionally, because it is what we do. We are professionals at what we do, and part of that is follow-up. A big part of that is follow-up, okay? I'm going to give you guys 3 different scenarios, real situations that it's like real conversations that I have had with people since I have made this shift from master messenger, I was a master one and doneer. Don't worry, you guys. But I've shifted. And so these are some conversations and some of the verbiage that I use. So the first situation, maybe you sent somebody a message, a video, you asked them to check out, a Freedom Revolution call, whatever it was, and they didn't respond, right? Oh my gosh, they didn't respond. What are you going to do? We're not going to be done with them. That's what we're not going to do, okay? What we are going to do is give them the benefit of the doubt. Think about any message that you've ever gotten that you maybe didn't respond to by accident even. Have you ever gotten a message while you were in the grocery store and you couldn't respond then, so you forgot later, right? It's not in your mind, okay? Or maybe whatever you're doing. Maybe you got a message while you're going to the bathroom and you didn't respond right then, and then later you forgot about it. So always give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, we're going to offer grace. We're never going to be mad or upset if somebody doesn't respond to us. And we're always going to understand that they have noise, lots of noise in their life, just like you do. Okay, everybody's noise looks different, but what does it look like for you? And you have to, when you're reaching out to people, always remember your own noise, and always remember that they have it too. And by noise, I don't mean actual sound that's happening, but I mean all the distractions in your life. because everybody has it. It just looks different. So here's what mine looks like. You know, I've got a husband who's great. He's the head women's basketball coach at the University of Kansas. So that brings a lot of noise, as in distractions, as in games and recruiting events and lots of travel and 15 college girls and all of it. Okay. So lots of noise comes along with that. I'm also a homeschooling mom. So lots of distraction there, right? Lots of noise going on with, that's just part of our curriculum. Okay. So going along with that, I've got 2 kids that I obviously homeschool. They have real noise. Anybody who knows my kids knows how loud they are. So that's real noise. And there's usually about 5 extras around our house. And one just walked in the door. I'm doing a video that you don't need to be in. Thank you. And then we have 2 dogs, a gecko and a snake. And I coach and run a youth basketball program. And I have this awesome team of people. So that's just like my everyday noise, right? What are the big chunks in your life? They're your everyday noise. And so the next time you reach out to somebody and they don't respond, I want you to think, you know, hypothetically, everybody has 2 kids, 2 dogs, a snake, and a gecko, right? It might not look like that for them, but they do. So the next time you send a message and somebody doesn't respond, just be like, okay, you know what? They've got 2 kids, 2 dogs, a snake, and a gecko. It's all right. And you'll reach back to them. Understand that they have all that noise going on, okay? So get that in your head. Everybody's got it. Everybody's got 2 dogs, 2 kids, a snake, and a gecko. All right, so then you're going to reach out again because you understand that they have noise and you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. And here's something I would say. I would say, hey, Amy, I know how crazy life is with the kids. I just wanted to make sure you saw my message. I've been thinking about you ever since having the conversation about Charlie's allergies and would love to share this with you. Can we connect on Tuesday after baseball practice? So whatever it is, why you're thinking about them, but it's important. Hey, Amy, I know how crazy life is. You're already telling them you understand. You're offering grace, right? I just want to make sure you saw my message. Okay, that's important. Offer grace. Just want to make sure they saw the message, okay? So this is a real message I sent. And you know what? Amy didn't respond to that either, okay? So no response. So what are we going to do? Give them the benefit of the doubt. Offer grace, okay? Understand they've got noise. You know what? Amy has 2 kids, 2 dogs, a snake, and a gecko. And then I'm going to always give them an out. If I have sent them like 2 messages and with no response, like my goal at that point is just to get them to respond in a positive, in a conversational way, you know, I don't care if they say yes or no at this point. I want a response so I can continue the conversation with them. Okay. So I'm giving them an out. And here's what that looks like for me on this particular one. Hi, Amy. Sorry we didn't get to connect on Tuesday. Please don't hesitate to tell me no. I say that all the time now. If I get ghosted twice, I'm coming back with this. Please don't hesitate to tell me no. You have to make sure they understand that you're not connected to the outcome of this conversation, that you just want to make sure they've gotten the information, okay? Please don't hesitate to tell me no on this if you don't think it's a good fit for your family. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. This is all about you and your family. I'm just the messenger here. So giving them an out, right? You guys, I don't know. I need to start tracking. I've said this, the percentage, because it's very high. I don't know what it is, but very high percentage of the time I get a response at least, okay? When I give them the out, I get a response back when they know I'm not caught up in the outcome. This is a response from Amy, and you don't even need to read all this, just the first part. Hey, girl, don't give up on me. Because then after that, what's she doing? She's just telling me about the noise that she has in her life that I already know, because everybody has 2 kids, 2 dogs, a snake, and a gecko. I know that. So just know this. She said, hey, girl, don't give up on me. You guys, in the past, and some of you who are new, you know, I might have not continued to follow up with her after she ghosted me twice. Then what would have happened when I actually saw her, it probably would have been awkward because I know she's ghosting me. She knows she's ghosting me. Now where's the conversation going to go? And it turns into this awkward thing. Just be real and truthful and honest with people, you know, and giving them an out. But because I continue to follow up with her, you know, and before, if I would have just one and done her, I wouldn't have known that she actually was interested. She just hadn't had time. So, you know, now she's good. I'm able to help her kids. You know, we're helping their kids with their allergies. And, you know, her family's going to be much better off because I did follow up with her, and I didn't want to done her. I showed her that I cared enough to be professional and follow up with her. Okay, so that's one example. Another one is this thing when you have conversations with people and they're like, yes, I'm ready, sign me up. And then they don't respond. Okay, raise your hand if that's ever happened to you, because it does to me. It's crazy to me. And this, this specific situation that I'm going to tell you about here, I was on a Zoom call with my friend Sarah, and she was like running out the door to basketball practice. She said, send me the link, I'm signing up tonight. And then I sent her the link and with a little message, and then she didn't respond. Okay, it was crazy, right? But give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Understand they have noise, and this is really important, okay? I'm gonna add this in here. Do not start making up your own stories, because in this situation, what I may have done, or what some of you might do, is make up a story, right? So I thought, you know what, Sarah was so ready for it. Then she talked to her husband and he said no, so now she's going to ignore me. Or whatever. Maybe she went online and read something bad about Juice Plus, so now she doesn't want it anymore. Whatever story you could make up. There's a lot of stories you could make up. Just don't do it. Okay, don't do that to you, and don't do that to them. It's their life. You don't get to make up the stories about their life and what choices they're making. So just give them the benefit of the doubt and keep following up, okay, showing that you care. So I would reach back out and say something like this. Hey, Sarah, I'm just checking back in with you. This is another thing that I like to say a lot, okay? Please don't hesitate to tell me no. I say that a lot, and I also say this a lot, because this lets them know that you are just being professional at what you do. I say, I'm really good at what I do, and part of that is being good at follow-up. Okay, so it's showing that you're being a professional. You're not flaky. You're not sending them one message and then moving on to the next person. You're being a professional. Okay, so I say that, I'm really good at what I do, and part of that's being good at follow-up to make sure I haven't forgotten about our conversation. So I'm going to continue to follow up with you until we can connect again. And Sarah was having, issues with her energy level, but just letting them know that you are being professional at what you're doing, and you're not going to flake out on them and send them one message and be done with it. You know what, Sarah, that was a real message, and Sarah didn't respond. This is the girl who said, send me the link, I'm signing up tonight, right? Twice now she's ghosted me, okay? So what am I going to do? I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to offer grace, understand that she has noise, and I'm absolutely not going to make up any stories. Still, I could still make up those same stories. Her husband, whatever, I could make it up. I'm not, okay? I'm going to actually reach back out, and this is when I'm going to give her the out, okay? I'm just looking for a response at this point. Hey, friend, you are totally ghosting me, so I'm going to absolutely call her out. You're totally ghosting me. It's absolutely cool if now isn't the time for you to get started with Juice Plus. Seriously, don't worry about telling me if it's not for you. Okay, give her the out. However, I know how ready you said you were to make these changes with your family, so I'm just trying to be a good friend and follow up. Let me know what you're thinking, okay? Just, let them know, hey, I know you're ghosting me. It doesn't matter to me if you're not ready. Just let me know where your thoughts are, because she was ready. And so, again, it's a very high percentage when I give them the out that they actually respond, and that's what I'm looking for. And you don't need to read all this. This is all about the noise in her life. I just want you to read the first sentence. You are a good friend and I suck. And then she's talking about the noise in her life. She's a basketball coach. She's got 3 kids. Her husband's a superintendent. They got a lot of noise, okay? It doesn't matter. I already knew they did. But, if, again, go back to if I would have made up stories and not continued to follow up with her after she's ghosting me, then I would have just kept that story in my head that she's no longer interested or whatever I had made up. And it's so not true. The truth is she just hadn't had the time to get to it. Okay. So we've got this handled now. We've got it under control, but it took me following up with her more times than this, probably 5 more times after this, honestly. And every time she was appreciative that I followed up and I didn't forget about her and I wasn't being flaky. And I was being very, accepting of her crazy schedule. So just offering grace all the time. The third scenario, because I'm telling you guys to give them the out, right? So what happens when you say, don't hesitate to tell me no, and they come back and they actually tell you no? You just asked them to tell you no, right? So I love this part. I have a love-hate relationship with this scenario because, like, I love it. I love it more when they just tell me yes, but I also love it when they say no, because now their guard is totally down, right? All you're looking for is to get them to respond, okay? So we want them to respond. If it's yes, awesome, sign them up. If it's no, awesome. That means they're now open to a conversation with you. Because if they told you no, it's probably just because their brain is shut off, because they thought maybe you were trying to sell them something. And so their defenses are already up. You guys, a lot of people have this weird, just like, if they think that you are part of a company or you're trying to sell them something, even though, you know, however you approach it, some people just, it's automatically like a wall, and they won't listen. And you can't actually, no matter what you say or what you send to them, you can't get through that. Okay. But when they tell you no, it's like the walls just crumbles and it's down. Now you can have a conversation with them, and they don't have their defenses up anymore. Their guard is totally dropped, and they will be real with you. So that's why I have this love-hate relationship with when I ask them to tell me no and they tell me no, because now I know it's going to get real, and we're going to be able to get through that. Okay. So just absolutely, if you get them to say no, congratulations for getting a response, right? That's what we're going for here. And understand that no never means no. I want you to think back to your story. How many of you said no the first time around, either to joining this mission or the products? Probably most all of us. Okay. Or think about your upline, your sideline, your downline, and all of your customers. You know, how many of them actually were not ready for it the first time you approached them? Most of us were not ready for it the first time we got introduced to it. So understand that no means not right now, does not ever mean no. And your response, the way you respond when they say no, that's absolutely the key. That's what I'm talking about. Like, their guard is down. You know, that's your opportunity to show them that, you know, you're not caught up in the outcome. You're not mad at them for saying no. You truly do care about them, and you start to build that relationship now that their guard is down. So for me, when somebody tells me, you know, I just don't think now is the time for our family, you know, I'm absolutely cool with that. You know, so I'll respond with, I totally understand, you know, that's awesome. Tell me more about whatever's going on in their life. Tell me more about that trip you just took, but just continue the conversation. Okay. Then they're going to respond, or ask them about their kids or whatever it is. But it's really, really important that I just change the subject totally away from Juice Plus or nutrition or whatever it is we were talking about, and totally about them. Figure out what in their life, you know, how we can help them, but just through conversation, and make it about them, asking questions. And they will, whenever they're ready and it's their idea, they will ask you, you know, so tell me more about what you do, or tell me a little bit more about that Juice Plus stuff. But sometimes it just needs to be their idea, and it needs to be their time. But if they tell you no and you say okay, and then you don't ever talk to them again, they're not going to come back to you when they are ready. Okay, you have to continue to build that relationship so that they will come back to you when they are ready, because you want to be, remember, we don't know, 6, 7, 8, some people 4, some people 12 exposures. You want to be the person who reaches out to them when they are ready. Okay, you don't want to be their first, second, and third exposure and not be their 6th exposure if that's when they're ready, right? We want to be the ones who are continually caring enough about them to follow up, to make sure that we are the exposure that they have when it's time, when they are ready. So for me, guys, this is a mental shift, right? It has gone from me being a master messenger to me understanding and learning as I have fumbled through this, you know, for 9 years, that it's all about building relationships. And this is a mindset shift that if you guys can make this, I promise you it's going to change how you build your business. Okay. We have to go from feeling like we're being pushy to understanding that we are being professional. By following up, it is being professional. It is not being pushy. Okay. We have to make that shift, and we're going to follow up in a professional way. Okay. We have to make the shift from going from feeling like we're bothering people to understanding that what we're really doing is showing that we care. What bothers people, I'm going to say this again, what bothers people is when you send them one message and you never follow up. That bothers them because that shows them that you don't really care. If you continue to follow up with them, now they're going to know that you actually do care. It's not bothering them. It's showing them that you're invested in their health or their future or whatever it is, and you care enough to follow up. And this thing of going from being concerned about what they're going to think, what everybody's going to think of you, to understanding, to getting to the place of we're trying to figure out what's in it for them. It's all about them. Okay, we're helping them. So on the left here, and a lot of people, I think when we start, and the way we approach follow-up is we're afraid that we're being pushy, we're bothering people, and we're afraid what they'll think. But if you can shift that to all these things on the right, when you understand that you're being professional, that you're showing people that you care, and you're figuring out and helping them figure out what's in it for them, that's when you have this shift from, master messenger or whatever it is to a master of follow-up, and understand how truly important follow-up is, and even fall in love with the process of it. It's fun if you do it right and you really fall in love with that. So we have talked, I know, like in the Cherry Bomb groups, we've talked about this. We're actually, this is our book right now, Get Over Your Damn Self, or it was our book, and then Team Z. These two things are just resources that I'm sharing because they've totally changed my outlook on follow-up. Team Z, because it actually allows me to to remember who I'm supposed to follow up with. I schedule it. That was my problem. So I was never one of those, I never felt like I was being pushy, or I never felt like I was bothering people. I just forgot. Like, I would just send so many messages, I forgot who I sent them to, and then I never went back. And now that I'm doing Team Z, I have people that are coming up, like, that tells me, Team Z tells me who to reach out to, right? And I go to send them a message, and I see that I sent them one message 3 years ago. So now I get the opportunity to apologize for doing that. I'm so sorry that I flaked on you. And I've had some people come back, no worries, I was flaky then too. So you can make it fun, but these two things have been huge resources for me in understanding the importance of this, and Team Z just for tracking my follow-up, right? So these things, when we can do this, change the way we approach it. And I hope after, listening to this, I know some of you have more than once, you're understanding that shift. We should love follow-up because it's our opportunity to show people how much we really do care. And always go back to remembering your story. And if you were one of those super smart people who got it on the first time and were like all in, awesome. Remember your upline story, or remember mine. You're in this business, you're on our teams right now because somebody cared enough to follow up with somebody else in your upline. I promise you that. So who are you going to be that for? Who are you going to pay it forward to follow up with somebody? So always keep your own story in mind. Remember the average number of exposures. Okay, don't get frustrated if you don't hear back from somebody right away. And follow-up is truly the key to building relationships. You guys, we are in a relationship building business. And, how you do that is follow-up. So just as you kind of think about some of this, I'm going to stop my screen share here. I just want to talk to you guys. As you think through some of this, just know that we've all made mistakes. And I'm sitting here in front of you telling you that I was probably the worst at this, which is why I created this, because it's been such a eye-opening shift for me and how I used to do things to now how I understand I should be doing things. And so I hope that you guys who are much newer in the business than I am can get this right away and understand, the power that we have is the opportunity to care enough about people to follow up with them so we can always pay this thing forward, and always, always remember how you feel about the person who followed up with you. I am forever grateful for Joy Kelly in my life. I can't even go there. I'll get emotional. The power, how much my life has changed because she followed up with me. If I think about how I feel about her every time I have to go follow up with somebody, then you better believe I'm going to be following up with people. So just go to that place and think about how you feel about that person. And then follow up with somebody with that kind of caringness about you and that kind of understanding of what we're doing is building relationships. So that's what I've got for you guys.
So good, Ali Schneider.
Awesome. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Ali?
Okay, I have, there's a pink elephant in the room. So I love your verbiage. I love it. Thank you. It's so helpful. I really appreciate that. when you're doing Teamsy, I actually am struggling with that. I do use Teamsy, but now I have like I'm so focused on doing like my power hour or my deep dive session and doing outgoing proactive things instead of reactive things. And then by the time I do the 50 other things I had throughout the day, I'm not finding time to go back to Teamsy and then duplicate who I did talk to, what was I saying, and do you know what I mean? So do you have anything to offer with that?
You know what? So if I send somebody a message, then I put in Teamsy to follow up. If it's like my first reach out to them, I put in Teamsy to follow up with them 2 days later. And it might even have just been a, hey, how's life? Because I send so many messages sometimes, and then they might have messaged me back, but I would have forgotten, to even check it, or I did check it and now it's gone way down. And so I always, 2 days later, then I do look at my follow-ups. So I do my power hour, I do my new reach outs first, and I can do it pretty fast. And then I do go through my follow-ups. I make sure like everybody that I had scheduled that I was going to follow up with that day, and I look at who it is, and then I follow up with them. And to be honest, like if they message me back, if I said it, like I sent somebody a message today, I go in there and I schedule the follow-up for 2 days later. If they message me back tonight, I'm probably not going to message them back until they come up on my Teamsy, because I have so many other things I'm doing. I have a time scheduled to follow up with them in 2 days. So that's when I'm going to do it. That's where I'm at, like right now in my crazy life and in my business. And it's okay, if they don't, you can set it for the next day if you want, but it's okay for them not to think that you're like just sitting by your phone waiting for their response. So that's why I feel okay doing that. But I do always, I go through my new prospects, and then I do always make sure I do my follow-ups. And, I'll send them another message, and if they're still ghosting me, I set the same thing for 2 days later. I'll send them, and then I'll give them an out, or, but I always set it in Teamsy so that I know.
Gotcha. But you're going back afterwards, right? Like you're doing all your outgoing things first, and then you're going to Teamsy, not at the same time, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? All right. Christy, Robin, Carmen, you guys have anything you want to call this tonight?
Yeah.
Well, I loved it. That was, I was just going to say that was my first time seeing you real time doing it. It was incredible, Ali. And I'm glad we recorded it for other people to hear. And I'm really excited just to make that shift. So I'm sure many of us can agree with that. It's just how we think about it. And I like how you said you think about how if Joy would not have followed up with you, to think about that every time you go to follow up with somebody. I feel that way with Dr. Ann Smith, and she continued to follow up with me. And I wasn't very pleasant about her follow-up, but I'm glad she did. I'm so grateful that she did. So thank you for sharing this. Awesome training.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's amazing to think that Joy didn't even meet Ali. Her husband met Ali, and Joy kept on her for 4 months. Like, that is follow-up, y'all. Like, that is follow-up. So, keep that in mind. I talked to a telemarketer today, and I told him I wanted him to work with me because he was so good at asking questions. So I'm excited to follow up with him. He may be my Ali Schneider, So answer the phone and have conversations with them, because they're not, they're okay with rejection. So totally shifting before we end this. A lot of you guys are in our fast track to SC call and our leaders call, but all of you should be in our Facebook page, the Cherry Bomb Builders page. Okay. I want to make sure you guys are all invited to be a part of that. And I want to invite you guys to really be good at your follow-up and all these skill sets that you're learning so that we can work with you. We're invested in helping every single one of you get into our calls. But I also want to invite you to our book club. So this is what we're reading for March. Hello, it's August. reading, you are a badass at making money. Now, her first book is great, but we really want to normalize the conversation of money, and we want everyone to have a good experience with it. This is really going to take you deep into that. So grab this, listen to her on Audible. She's the one who narrates it. She's amazing, and there is work to do in this book. So it's not just reading. This is read and do some action, but in addition, flex that muscle of follow-up that Ali has shown you, and get your team to watch this and you rewatch this over and over again. Okay, y'all? Thank you, Ali. Thank you to everyone for making this a priority and getting on tonight.
And thank you, because we also know that you are so busy, and 2 kids and a Geico and everything else too. And I remember that.
Oh, got it.
All right.